All right, here we are with take two. Yes, Bob Hampton, you are the first in this broadcast. But I have already had one broadcast attempting this roll, and we had a problem with my scope, so I had to restart everything. That did not do a lot of good. My scope is still very hit and miss and very jumpy. We're going to have to try to figure out the answer to that when I can get Eric Beyer in, and he can talk me through the issues I'm having. I have no idea exactly what's causing it. Let's see if my raw format helps any. No. Nope, not really. Let's see. I don't really have any idea what's going to correct this issue. It is an issue nonetheless. I don't know how much of this roll I'll be able to finish this way. But anyhow, we are on coin number 2 now. Coin number 1 went to Thomas. Thomas had nothing of real note in it. Hello, farm dog. And we are on to coin number 2 now. Coin number 2 belongs to Marshall. Coin number 2 will go to Marshall. I'm working on attempting, anyway, to get this microscope to show this without severe lag, and it is not working. As you can see, we've got a very jumpy, severely lagging picture. But we can still use it. It's just not very good. Not exactly what we would have in mind as optimal use, but we're doing the best we can with it. Hello, Coin Junkie. Okay, nothing on this coin, so we're going to move on. That's coin number 2 from Mr. Marshall. Coin number 3 now. Of course, I went through the website and showed that we had double die obverses and double die reverses and RPMs to be watching for in this particular issue, and all that got washed out with the need to restart my computer and restart the broadcast. But if we don't get a change in heart on this roll here pretty soon, this one's going to end up not being a great roll anyway, so we're just going to play it by ear and just keep going. Hopefully, the video frame rate will improve so we can at least get a decent video without chopping all the way through it. But if it is going to be that, then, well, at least we can expect it, so we know what's coming. Keep looking through here to see what I can find. Got nothing on the reverse of coin number 3, so we're going to move on from Penny Hoarder's coin on to coin number 4. Coin number 4 will go to Mr. Hampton. Here's Bob Hampton's coin, number 4. And what do we have here? Okay, I don't see anything on the mint mark. And the I is not doubled. We have no doubling in God We Trust or on Liberty. So I will flip it over to the other side of the coin and see what we can find on the other side, if anything. And I'm showing nothing there. How are you guys hearing my voice? Am I rather consistent, or am I choppy on the voice and everything as well? Never really thought it could be an online thing causing my scope to mess up. Here's one from Malcolm, coin number 5. Coin number 5. Going to Malcolm. See if we can get this thing straightened out a little bit. Okay. Nice little tail over on the left-hand corner of the 4, or of the D. The second half of the date looks like it could be a minor class 6 double die, and it doesn't seem to match the ones that I remember seeing earlier. We do have a little bit of a class 6. The E is stretched somewhat concave, so you can see that there's concavity to the top of the E and to this part of the E, and then when this comes up to a point just a little bit there, you know you have some concavity. If we have concavity in Liberty, then we are going to call this one. And let's see what we do have. we do have a very slight amount of concavity in Liberty. So for now, I will call this a possible double die. Ooh. That's a interesting little thing going on in the back of the shoulder there. Got a couple of areas that look like could be doubled on the back of the coat. Nonetheless, this is just an interesting looking coin. I'm not exactly sure what is going on with it right now. Looks like we could have some doubling on the brow and on the nose. I don't see anything on the chin. Got a little on the bow tie. I'll have to take a closer look at this later and see what we've got. But I definitely have what looks like a sort of a tail coming off the D. The 4 and the 6 have extra thickness. So let's flip this over and see if we have anything on the reverse for sure or not for sure. And I'm not seeing any doubling here. I'm sorry about the jumpy nature of the video. It's just I tried to resolve this issue and don't seem to be able to. Buy coins are selling unbelievably strong at $15 to $20 on eBay. That's amazing. We're going to hold this one. Give it a chance. Number 5 belonged to Malcolm, so we're going to hold it. Get a better look at it later and see what we think it is. Now on to Doug Dosmus. Doug gets coin number 6 in the roll. Let's see what's on coin number 6 here. Well, you have nothing on the date or the mint mark. No doubled I. Motto's not doubled. Liberty is not doubled. It is a little bit better. It's just not doing great. I would like to be able to clean it up very well. Get this issue kind of resolved so we can move on without worrying about it. Let me see if this did any good. No, maybe just a little tiny bit. Okay, we got nothing on the reverse on this one, so Doug gets coin number 6. This will be coin number 6, now coin number 7. Coin number 7 will go to Yo Man. I'm sorry I wasn't on the last few days as I had planned. Here's basically how the reveals are going to end up having to work, and this is best I can do. When I know that I will be able to broadcast shows, I will schedule them. Otherwise, I will not schedule them, because scheduling them ahead of time does not work for me. I'm doing the job of 3 or 4 people here, and it is very difficult for me to make it around to doing reveals when other things don't work out perfectly. And the reveals are not my very first priority, because I know that they can be done later when I've got a bunch of packages to be mailed out and I've got other things that I have to take care of within a given timeline. The reveals just kind of have to wait. If I get a headache or ocular migraine or something where I have to walk away from the computer without choice, or my medication's messing with me, I really just don't have any fallback. There's just no way for me to be ready and done and at the disposal of my ability to be able to just turn a broadcast at the moment on a dime. But I can, however, be ready for a broadcast within 5 or 10 minutes should I decide it's a good time and I am able to do it. So, given the fact that in the very beginning of doing these shows, they weren't necessarily intended to be an audience-attended live broadcast anyway, my main purpose in doing them back in that time was to be able to show on camera with my hands and everything on camera at the time that I open a roll, to show that, well, this is the first time I've ever opened these rolls, and that you can see the paper uncurl right in front of your very eyes, and that the names are pulled at random, so I'm not quote-unquote cheating anyone. If you don't get anything good, it's purely by choice, by chance, not by my choice. And so the idea from the very beginning kind of changed from its original intent, because the original intent was just to be doing these shows as a matter of having photographic proof of what did happen. And that quickly blossomed into being a relatively high-rated and highly attended live broadcast. So I was then conscious of the fact that I was doing live broadcasts, and I was trying to make sure that I scheduled these around when I figured most people would be near their computers or near their phones or in a position where they'd be able to watch the show, because, well, that's part of how you gain popularity for a show, is if you run into something that you're doing that works, you want to be able to do it during a period of time where other people are going to be able to watch. And my biggest problem with that up until now is that a lot of the times where I could be running a show, I need to be doing something else. And that's been one of my biggest problems. And then I get into running the shows, like you guys know I do, and then something comes along like a migraine or other issues that keep me from being able to broadcast for the remainder of said day, and then my schedule gets all kicked out of wonk, and I end up not broadcasting for a few days after that. And that has always been the issue here. And it's me just trying to be able to get around my own self to get things scheduled and done. And, well, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes I just don't have the ability to do what needs to be done. I'm currently battling through a few personal issues and also attempting to get over the main issues that I've had for quite a while. Is like, for instance, I have this very deep tendency to, okay, this looks like this is another one of our ones with the wide 4, the wide 6, the little tail on the D. We'll see if we have this concavity over here in Liberty, which we do. So I'm going to, at the moment, hold this one out. Let's see, we've got some die scratches off the N of in. So I will pull the other coin out and see if we have those same die scratches. I'll just loop it here real quick. But one of the issues that I tend to have with doing these shows is that, okay, I've got the same die scratches on the other coin, so this is from the same die. Is that I have issues with my medication that can cause me to be extremely tired, to the point where I can't even sit here with all the might and power that I wish I had to be able to work through it. I simply can't. I basically fall asleep while I'm trying to type at the keyboard, and I find myself making some pretty severe mistakes in the work that I'm trying to do, and I just have to give up, because no matter how hard I try, I just cannot continue to work. And it's not a, I'm not complaining like it's a physical incapability. I'm not handicapped or anything. It's just that when my eyes are closed, I don't type well. And that tends to be a big issue, because that's when I'm trying to get a lot of work done, is when I can't do it. Because my brain tells me I'd rather be asleep. And so I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to get through all that and how to get everything done the way that it needs to be done, the way I want to do it. But I have yet to find a good solution. Let's see. This one is going to be a normal coin as well. These coins are just a little bit darker and a little bit spottier than I had hoped. But coming from a paper-wrapped roll, where oftentimes the paper has a long-term effect on the redness of the coins. And that has taken an effect here. So you never know what you're going to get out of these until you actually open them up and try it. See what comes of it. This is another one of those. A slightly wide 4 and 6. It has a tail on the, this is what I'm calling a tail. This little thing right here on the D mint mark. And then has those die scratches up there next to the 1 on the date, and then it's going to have die scratches up on the N of in. These little guys right here. So it's the same die again. So we're repeating the same die over and over again, which does show this is an original roll. It's not on the really high resolution. That's part of the issue, is that I have it on the lowest resolution. It's just really weird that it seems that it's on a much higher resolution. It's just not. Maybe I can reset the resolution by... This is another one of those. So here we go again. Let's see if I can change my live to the higher resolution and see what happens. Okay, this supposedly is the very high resolution. And it's... wow. Something just isn't working right. That's for sure. We'll bring it back down to the low resolution and see what happens. Okay, that is the low resolution. So this is the best I can do. But this is... I'll try to restart the computer again before the next show. But this is another one of those with the die scratches on the N of in. So this will be the fourth one of these I've run into. This is a rather minor double die obverse, but I do believe it is a double die obverse, and it could also, that little tail on the mint mark could also be an RPM. I kind of doubt it, but we'll just have to take a better, closer look at it when I get a good chance to look under the scope in optimal conditions, which right now it's not quite optimal conditions. Yeah, this one's going to be a normal coin. Let's take a look at the reverse and see if there's anything on the reverse worth tooting our horn about here. Having some sort of conversation with myself over this coin, and we're not really getting anywhere with it, so we'll push Doug's coin into the pile of normals and move on to coin number 18. Coin number 18 is going to be from Marshall now. This is coin number 18. And see, while we don't have the little tail on the D, the 4 and the 6 do look slightly thick. So I may be seeing things with the other one. We're going to make that determination later. For right now, I'm just pulling them out because, well, I think they could be something. And if you think you could be onto something, then you may as well pull it if it's free, because I don't have to pay to pull these, so we can check them later. And if they don't happen to be anything, they can go right back in the stacks, go in your envelopes, and be mailed to you. So that's how that works. So there's coin number 18. Coin number 19 now. Coin number 19 is going to go to Mike Birchman. Mr. B, this coin is for you, sir. That's another one of our ones with a little tail on it. A little tail on the D. We've got the die scratches next to the 1. You're going to have the die scratches next to the N of in. Come on. There we go. Right there. So that's another one of our nifty little possible minor double die obverses. Be a minor class 6 double die with a little bit of extra thickness in the 4 and the 6. And a very light possibility, slight possibility anyway, for this also being an RPM to the south and east, or south and west, I'm sorry. South and west. My team of doctors and a pharmaceuticals person has been working through my medication to figure out maybe what's causing my issues with my medication. And we have changed medication. And while my blood sugar is doing better, my fatigue doesn't seem to be improving much. And they asked me a number of other questions regarding symptoms. And I did not have the other symptoms that they were looking for in determining that there could also be additional issues or problems. So we're kind of at a standstill right now on this, but I will have a conversation with the doctor in 3 days. 3 days from now, I have a telephone conversation appointment with my doctor to discuss once again the medication, its effect, and what we could possibly do to improve the situation with my medication. And perhaps we may find a solution. That would be optimal. We could find a solution I could actually work through 12 hours a day and not be constantly concerned about when I'm going to be forced to take a nap. That's almost what it feels like. It's like I'm hogtied at times. I would love to be doing something else, love to be talking to people, love to be doing something, and my brain just shuts off. And it's like, dude, when my brain shuts off, I'm not doing anything. That's basically all there is to it. It's like my body says, okay, you're done. And then those ocular migraines, hey, and those things are weird, but they don't come on very often. But when they do, they don't let go. And it's like, you're going to have this until it's finished. And when it's finished, then you're going to be allowed to see again. But until then, you're going to be blind, forget doing anything. A trashed gallbladder? Dude, I got nothing. Got nothing for you. If I had any answers, any medical answers, I probably would answer my own questions first. The unfortunate thing is I'm more of a medical mystery than a medical solution. So it's not really a whole lot I'm going to be able to do for you or anyone else. Here's one for Deanne. And Deanne gets a normal coin. This roll is not turning out to be the optimal beauty that I had hoped it would be. There are a lot of RPMs to be found in 1946D, and this roll just doesn't seem to have any of them. As for Deanne, now we're going to move on to the next coin, number 24. 24 put us almost halfway through the roll. We've got Mike Birchman coming up next here, so let's see what Mike gets. Mike. Normal coin. Normal coin, it's one of the dies that we've been passing through here. It's got this, there's a little die fleck next to the S on trust. It's on all of them of this particular die. Just some of the little stuff that I see that I just tend to skip by because, well, it's just there. And, gosh, I've seen so many of these coins. I'll tell you what. Abscess in your jaw. Well, I'll tell you what, Randy. You go out and you piss off the right person, you have them punch you really hard in the jaw, and you'll get rid of it. This is not medical advice. This is only for my own entertainment. If it were really medical advice, we would be telling you where to go in the event of an emergency. This is only a test. Hey, Diabeer on soda. Yeah, I imagine that would probably hurt pretty good. But I tell you what, there's two things. You wouldn't be worried about your jaw anymore, and two, you probably would never say the same thing again. So, yeah, and those of you who are members of the Lincoln Cent Auctions group, yes, I did have some issues today. And sometimes I just, I've had an ass load of it. I've had enough, and I just kind of bark, and that's how that works. Sometimes I thoroughly enjoy it, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I wish it weren't necessary, and then other times I know it is necessary. But, well, I tell you what, this is not a meant for children TV show anyway. So here we go. I've put this thing together quite some time now, making sure that it was not counted as a kids TV show, because saying things like asshole on a kids TV show will get you screwed. So no, I never found it. Somebody, when I woke up this morning, and that's one of the problems with going through your phone when you first wake up, because you see stuff, and sometimes you're sure you saw it, and sometimes you're not quite sure that you saw it. I know I saw this. And it had something to do with I had come back from an absence or something like that, and I'm still an asshole, is basically how that read. I don't remember the post. I don't remember who made the post. I don't remember exactly where it was. But, yeah, and they probably squashed it. This must have been a roll ender at one point in time. It's toned down anyway. But brown is still a tone. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked for it, because what I wanted to do was establish who it was, or why they said that, and respond to it in kind. Because, I mean, I'm kind of like that. I like to be able to give you the resolve to whatever question you may have. And I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it. I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to make a post about it because I think I know what I saw. So I want everyone to know that if your point in life is to screw other people out of their money, or if your point in life is to steal content from other people and use it as if it's your own, or if your point in life is just to get the quickest buck that you can out of as many people as you possibly can, I don't want you around me. It's pretty simple. And if you think that makes me an asshole, I'll wear that shirt with pride. That's basically what I said. Nice little die scratch right there, right on the lapel. That's a pretty deep gouge there. But yeah, if it makes me an asshole because I'm being mean to someone who is cheating people out of their money, I'll do it. I'll volunteer for it again and again and again and again, and I'll keep doing it. So that's basically what the whole day boiled down to be, was me having to address someone that I couldn't even find. And then I had to address someone else yesterday for charging $4 a piece for common proof coins. Give me a break, people. $1 is plenty, okay? $4 is outrageous, especially when you know that your coins are very common. And then when you start putting things together in group lots to try to, it's like bundling for the purpose of befuddling, and all you're doing is bundling things together to try to confuse people. It's like, no, I don't get into that. I like to make things even simple with math, as simple as I can, because I know that not everybody maths, and I don't want you to have to math to have fun with your collection. I mean, for God's sake, if you have to actually crunch the numbers to figure out whether something's a good deal, it's probably not a good deal, because somebody has done everything they can to make the math as difficult on you as possible. But yeah, you do that, or you're like somebody who likes to steal pictures from the internet and use pictures from the internet as pictures of your own coins in your self-justification for posting something that tends to be quite scarce and quite difficult to find by the dozen. And it's like there's a certain point to which you can carry a story until it's just kind of obvious that it's not true. And when it's kind of obvious that your story's not true, well, here comes the old asshole Chuck out of the closet. Mr. Referee's going to come around and start bouncing people around for saying stuff that can't possibly be true. And if it is true, why are you selling a dozen of them? We're talking about RPM number 1, 55S number RPM number 1. 55S RPM number 1 in BU condition. They sell for, $30 to $50 a piece. And here's a guy who pops out and suddenly has a dozen of them. And he's trying to get 35 out of the whole group. And he's citing PCGS, which calls the S over S an east. And, well, anyone who knows 55S RPM number 1 knows it's not a S over S east. That would be 55S RPM number 2, which is known to be rather common. Here's another one of our coins here with a tail and the slightly thick 4/6 of the date. We're going to have die scratches next to the one there. We're going to have other die scratches next to the N of in right there. So this is another one of our possible DDO RPM combinations. It's a stretch, but I'd rather go after a stretch and see if it's anything than have nothing at all in a roll. And this one belongs to Marshall, so good luck to Marshall, and we'll see what we come up with on that. Here comes coin number 32. Oh, everything's doing great, Stephen. We're all fine. I'm basically I'm just kind of blabbing on about dealing with my. I don't know that you'd really even call it a health issue. It's more of a fatigue issue. I don't know exactly, other than my diabetes, exactly what's putting me to sleep during the middle of the day without control. It's not narcolepsy. It's not like a sudden sleep thing. It's I just get really, really tired and I can't function. I got to walk away. And when I walk away, usually I sit down in my chair and I'll calm down for a few minutes and I end up going to sleep. And then when I wake up, I'm refreshed and ready to go. And sometimes it's 10 minutes later, and sometimes it's 40 minutes, and sometimes it's 4 hours. And I never know exactly when. So that makes it really hard for me to schedule any of my reveal shows at a specific time and then try to be there at that specific time. It's almost an impossibility for me. I do have sleep apnea, but I control my sleep apnea with a CPAP machine. I sleep rather well with the CPAP. I don't snore. I don't make any noise. So I sleep fine. And here's another one of them. Another one of them. My machine does very well for me, so I don't think it's an apnea issue that is causing my need of sleep during the day. I have a Sherman alarm. My Sherman alarm. My alarm, though. See, here's another part of the issue with Sherman. Love the dog to death. Don't get me wrong on this, but the dog lays in here and snores. And if you are sitting around in the middle of the day in a quiet room listening to someone sleep, guess what that's going to do? It's going to make you sleepy. And that tends to be another little issue that I have, but I wouldn't get rid of that dog for any amount of money in the world. Wife asked me the other day, somebody offered you $100,000 for the dog, would you take it? And I said, hell no. I wouldn't even consider it. She said, good, right answer. I said, well, I don't care if you're testing me or not. You could offer me $1 million for the dog and he won't be yours. So, done. Hey, Krusty. But, yeah, we're, it's kind of one of those things where I don't really know what to do. I don't really know what to do to solve the problem, but I can let you know that it's never my intent. It's never my foregone conclusion that I'm going to schedule shows and not show up at them on time. And I hate doing that. And so I don't like scheduling shows for a particular time because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them on that particular time. So I'm going to have to just start scheduling them as I know I'm going to get them done. I don't really know. This one's spotty as hell. This is nasty. Who is this? Sureg. Sureg, you got a free coin coming to you. Just let me know when you see this. Let me know that you saw it. You got coin number 35 here. This is coin number 35. It's for Sureg. And it's a spotty coin. It is a BU coin, but it's spotty. And you're going to get a freebie out of this. So here's number 36, Thomas. Some of these coins did turn out a little over spotty. Most of them are pretty decent, but some of them turned out a little over spotty. And it looks like we've only got one possible die variety coming out of this roll. Tends to be a minor class 6 double die obverse with a possible RPM. Oh, Randy, man, you should really look into that. Check your blood sugar, see that you're not diabetic. Check with a doctor. Have sleep study done. Something, man. Because when you sleep that much and you're still tired, there's a problem. Here I am preaching to my choir, but it is what it is, man. If you're having problems, you need to go have it looked at. It only goes away if you ignore it as your teeth. So I can try to give 30 minutes in advance, and generally I will. But sometimes it's like, I'm running behind on all the work I do, and I'm running behind on everything, and here I am. And I'm sitting here. I'm ready for this reveal. I've got this stuff sitting here. And when I get the show scheduled, I really just want to schedule it and move. I don't want to schedule it and sit around for half an hour waiting. So, and it's like I explained to the people earlier in the show, is that I never really planned this particular product to be something where I had a live audience watching while I was doing it anyway. In the very beginning when I did this, I figured if anyone ever watched it live, that would be kind of a bonus. And all of a sudden it turns into the show where everybody wants to be there when I'm actually opening these rolls. And, well, that's great. But now I've got to figure out a way around how am I going to do this at 3 o'clock in the morning and actually have people here. Because, I mean, there's times I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm not tired at all. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go upstairs and open up a few rolls of coins. Well, yeah, that would be nice, but... God, whose is this? Mike Birchman. Mike, you got a freebie coming too. Yeah, sometimes eye strain or brain strain is kind of what brings on my ocular migraines, but this fatigue issue that I get, like, you would talk about it, man. I'm yawning even talking about it. Man. And sometimes I get perfect sleep at night. I go to bed at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then I don't get up until 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm nice and refreshed. I've had 10 hours, 11 hours of sleep. And I get up, I'll just say 9 o'clock in the morning, I get up, and I start moving around. And I get upstairs with my coffee. I'm up here by 9:30. By 10 o'clock, I'm working, clicking along just fine, and everything's all moving exactly like it needs to be moving. And by 11 o'clock, I am so dead, I cannot stay at the desk. I have to go take a nap. And it's really weird. And then there's other times, I'll get 4 hours of sleep. I'll go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll get up, and I'll start working, and I'll be working and working. And the next thing I notice, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still feeling fine. It's just weird. At times, I have slept 16 hours in a day. And at other times, I sleep 4 hours in a day and I'm fine. You think thyroid? Perhaps I should get them to check my thyroid. I don't even know what you do with that. Is it a blood test or something? I don't know. You call it getting old and it sucks. Yeah, as I remember, everyone that I have known who's grown old and I've seen them get old, they generally get very little sleep and are happy with it. 5-6 hours of sleep in a night and you're fine. My grandparents, they were up at 5 o'clock every morning drinking their coffee. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning I rarely see unless I'm sick. Or unless I stayed up too late. Hey, Eric. Next time I run into one, I'm going to slow down a little bit and let you see it because I've got a coin that I've got a die that I believe could be a minor RPM and classics double die combo. Could be. It's not this one. This is a normal one. A lot of these coins are coming out a little red-brownish. A number of them are coming out with some minor spots. A couple of them come out with some major spots. So it's not been the best roll in the world. And I was kind of hoping for a number of different RPMs, but that just didn't happen. Watching for the double dies, double die obverse, double die reverse. They're watching for the good stuff. And I started out talking about my health and about these reveals and about how there's a lot of times, and I really, really appreciate the good wishes of everyone and everybody checking up on me and stuff. That's beautiful, man. It really touches my heart when you guys do that. But in general, I'm fine. It's just I get like be 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hey, now would be a good time for a reveal. But man, I'm so tired. Let me get a short nap and then I'll get into the reveals. And then I sleep for 3 hours, and when I wake up, I'm not feeling well. And it's like, man, I just can't do this when I can't do it. I've got to have. My brain's got to be in order. Everything's got to be together for me to be doing this. And I have done these reveals when I was very tired, and I just miss stuff, and I'm not really paying attention, and I'm doing anything I can to get through it just to be able to get myself back in sleep mode, in tired mode. And it's just, man, it's just the day doesn't work well. It really doesn't. And I would rather not do these on that given day rather than do a disservice to you guys and do it halfway. Because this is something that I believe in the product. I believe in what I do. I believe in what I am doing here. I'm helping people hunt for and find stuff in rolls that are generally more expensive rolls. And I think the education, the value of it, and everything is great. So this is definitely not something I'll ever stop doing. So don't worry about that part. It's just a matter of I got to figure out how I can do it without having to schedule the shows ahead, because I can't schedule shows ahead. I never know when I'll be able to do them. I'm going to run a lap around my neighborhood. Okay. Will there be an ambulance at both ends or just one end? I mean, I need to know so when I collapse, I'll be able to collapse in a place where people will find me. So the last thing I want is for the damn buzzards to get after me while I collapse. Okay, whose coin is this? Farm Dog, you're getting a credit too, buddy. I already know that. I told you I gave you a credit last time, and by the time I remembered the credit, I had already charged you on the invoice. Next time, Farm Dog, do not pay your invoice if I don't give you the credit. Just tell me you get the credit. I'll edit the invoice and reship it. It's not a big deal, but you are getting a credit for that coin. It wasn't anything, and it was fingerprinted and spotty. So that's for Farm Dog. And I think Farm Dog's around. If he's not around, he will be eventually. Okay, here you go, Eric. Take a look at this one. This coin, you've got a little tail coming off to the west on the bottom of the D. And then the 4 and the 6 seem to be just a little bit extra wide. And then if I come up to this is something else I want you to help me solve. But you can see the how trust is just a little bit convex, and the we is just a little tiny bit convex. You come over to the LIB of Liberty. You've got that just a little bit of extra thickness on the LIB. I think this is a minor class 6. Now you can also see there appears to be a little bit of doubling on the back of the coat. And then there's some up there at the top in the collar. And you look over here. There's some on the nose. Now a lot of that could be just the regular lathe reduction doubling, but I want to look at it again. It's a die that keeps repeating through this roll. And this one's for Mac McBride, so that puts us once again in a spot of needing to be sure of what we're doing before we call it one way or the other. So I just want Eric to take a really good look at these. This is another normal coin here. This one is a little bit red-brown. Nothing really going on there. That's number 46, now number 47. This one goes to Malcolm. 4 coins left, and this is one out of those 4 coins. And we have what looks like a normal coin here. I'm sorry, the numbers. There you go. I think that'll do it. There we go. I keep running myself. Ever since Donna Mac a long time ago told me I needed to make those numbers bigger, and I basically took like 3/4 of the field of the camera out and blew it up so you could read the names. I keep forgetting that you guys can't always see the numbers and the names that I'm doing here because it doesn't match the way I started things out. But anyhow. Here we go. This is coin number 48 now. 48, go Wi-Fi. Coin number 48 to go Wi-Fi. Hello, Mike. And this one also is not going to be a special coin. And Eric, I think as soon as I get finished with this broadcast, I'd like a phone call so we can try to pick through why this thing is so damn jagged. It's really bothering me. All right, Go Wi-Fi. You're going to get a credit on this one too. This coin's mostly brown. It's not very pretty. So Go Wi-Fi. Let me know, and you'll get a credit on this one. All right, here's one for Eric. This is coin number 49. Perhaps Eric will get one of the double die-ish, RPM-ish coins here. Nope. It's one of the normal coins in the roll. No, the resolution's set to 1228 by 922 on the live, and my frame rate is at 3.0, 2.7. I've got a horrid frame rate. My frame rate's usually 10 to 15, and so I've got really bad frame rate. Things just are not working well this evening. It's my payback for not doing these shows on time, I guess. Here's coin number 50, last coin of the roll for Carl Ignatz. Let's see how he does with it. Are we going to pull another one of those possible special coins? Nope. This one is a normal coin. Another normal coin comes out. So that seals the fate for this roll. We know what we have. We know what we don't have at this point. Lower the exposure and increase the light. Okay, well, we'll try that now. Don't see how that's going to change anything. But I will increase the light. I will lower the exposure time. And that didn't do anything to improve. In fact, that made it worse, not better. I don't think the exposure time has anything to do with this. It's all about frame rate. My frame rate is only 2.8, 2.7. So I have to fix that problem. I may as well play with this for a little while. I'm moving my slider to the left, and see, that improved frame rate. Not greatly, but it did improve it. 10.6, 10.8. Yeah. Let me see if I can move it farther to the left and get a better result. It's all the way to the left now. So it's on low resolution, higher frame rate. There we go, 13.5, 13.9. We're doing quite a bit better. Okay. No need for a phone call at this point. I think I've resolved the issue. Let me move my light back down so I'm not burning so much energy. Move my exposure time back up, because I don't think that changes my frame rate. Yeah, no, that doesn't affect my frame rate at all. Okay, there we go. We're a little better off. That'll work. 125 milliseconds. I'm at 25 milliseconds now. That's 125 milliseconds. That's 16. Yeah, I think your settings and my settings are very different from one another, because this exposure time thing doesn't tend to have anything to do with mine. So yeah, move my exposure time down, my gain up, and I got pretty good frame rate now. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. Let's see my exposure time. Now I've got it moved down to 8.3 milliseconds. Picture's a little jagged. Let's see, move my frame rate up a little bit and see if that affects anything in the bad direction. Yeah, it does. Huh. This is so weird. You think you've got everything set just right and everything's working perfectly, and then all of a sudden the rules change on you overnight. This is kind of weird. Anti-flicker. I'm on 60 hertz AC, correct? Or am I on DC? Let's do DC and see if that changes anything. Looks like DC did a little bit better for me. .6 frame rate now. Looks like I'm doing quite a bit better. Okay, so I've got another show that was scheduled 12 minutes ago. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get ready for that show. As I'm getting ready for that show, I'm going to restart my computer again, and then I will be back to do the next show. These are the coins, that are normal. I'm going to grab my stack here. Basically, it's most of them in the roll, but all right. Hang on a second. Let me get these all stacked up just right. There's all the normal coins in the roll. Normal coins in the roll right there. And then the coins that are of, well, interest. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to be doing with them yet, but they're going to be coins numbered 48, 45, 33, 31, 19, 16, 15, 12, and 5. And those are going to be for Malcolm, Doug, Malcolm, Go Wi-Fi, Mike, Marshall, Mac, and Go Wi-Fi. So not a whole lot of sharing going on there, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. And I'll be back. 10 minutes with a 57D roll. See you guys then.